When I place a trade, I've done the homework. I've done the analysis. This trade is gonna pay out. So I got 30 lots, 40 lots, and I'm riding with it.
Your profit per point is insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So when I have like a 20K week, I expected that to happen.
All right, guys, we're back. Another TFT podcast. Today I'm joined by Robert. We're here in Vegas. He's a funded trader. He's made over $50,000 on our platform. Welcome to the podcast, Robert.
Appreciate it. Glad to be here. Vegas has been good. Good weekend.
Let's go.
Let's go.
First podcast?
First podcast.
All right.
Podcast.
You ever expect that you were going to be on a podcast?
No, did not expect. But I'm glad to be here though. And if I was gonna do my first one, I'm glad it's for TFT.
I appreciate it.
I got a lot of love for it.
You've been with TFT for a while, huh?
Like over a year.
When you first started, like what was going on? What challenge did you buy? I'm trying to think about the time frame when you started at.
My first challenge out the box was a 100K challenge.
Okay, standard, rapid, royal.
I only do rapid.
Only rapid. Okay, so you came in probably right after the rapid challenges actually launched. Or for the people that don't know, like, why do you do the rapid ones?
It's funny that you say that. Let me take that back. My first challenge was a standard.
Okay.
My first challenge was a standard. My favorite is the rapid. All right, and because the rapids are my favorite.
Why'd you switch it up? Standard, rapid.
The drawdown.
Okay.
The drawdown. My style of trading is like more of a swing trader. So a lot of times when my trades are running, I'm asleep. So I need that extra drawdown. I need that balance-based drawdown.
Yep.
That's like the most important thing to me, because when those trades are running, I don't want to have to be calculating the equity. So the rapids with the balance-based drawdown, along with the increased scaling, the fast-paced scaling, it's more of a fit for me.
First withdrawal, 14 days to no minimum trading days on the challenge. Yeah, so you can get paid pretty fast. And then for the balance-based drawdown, for people that don't know, it is better, right? If you're a swing trader, if you're a day trader, it's not as significant. It doesn't affect you as much for sure. I guess it could. Like if you're taking huge positions, I guess it could, depending what the risk reward and everything is. But for those that don't know, so if you're in a trade, right, if you're up $10,000 and the day turns over on the accounts that have the equity and the balance-based drawdown, which is the royal, the standard, and the night, the daily drawdown will actually look at your highest equity level, and it will take it will subtract from that level, and then that's what your daily drawdown will be for that day. So if you're up $10,000 and your daily drawdown is $5,000, then if that trade comes down, to below $5,000, you will actually fail the account realistically. But the balance-based drawdown, it only calculates off that high watermark or whatever if you close the trade, right? So technically you can let the winners run and, make a lot more money.
Right, because, typically when you're trading, you're going to have, even on winning trades, you're going to have those reversals that kind of come, nothing goes down forever, nothing goes up forever.
Yeah.
So, you're going to have those reversals. And I like the balance-based drawdown because it allows for those reversals to take place without hitting that equity margin. So,
yeah.
You can be up, say, 10K and a reversal may hit you for a negative 6K. The next day you go back down into your full profit. You got a lot of more margin to play with that balance-based drawdown. So it's built for me.
Are there
rapid man?
Are there any other firms that do the balance base that you trade with?
No other firms that do the balance base that I trade. First of all, TFT is like my sole provider right now.
Let's get it.
Yeah. Like
go.
You guys kind of got all my attention and focus right now. I mean the profits I'm making. The things I'm doing with TFT. It's I
appreciate that.
Yeah, no really need for me to look anywhere else at this moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of people right now. Like I'm active on all the platforms like Twitter, Instagram, everything, and I'm like reading everything everyone's saying, and everyone's so obsessed with having like max funding, with like 10 different prop firms, right? Like having 5 million in funding accounts. With TFT, obviously the max that you can get is 600.
Right.
So I know right now you're trying to max out at 600. You said you had a 300K.
I'm at a 400K.
Okay.
So I'm doing a 200K challenge, trying to max out at that 600K.
Okay.
And I mean, you can go, like I say, I tell people, if you want to go and get all this funding from all these different prop firms, just make sure you're consistent with one first.
Yep.
Each of these prop firms, they have their different, little rules. And so you want to get consistent with one. You like TFT, I'm learning, I learned the ins and outs, balance base, the different standard, rapid, royal. You want to be consistent with one, scale that one. Then you can talk about moving on and diversifying.
I think it also, from my perspective, like as a business owner in the industry, it hurts the industry a bit that people are hopping to company to company. The reason I say this is because if you trade with one firm, you get into the groove, like, if there's an issue, like when, like how long it normally takes to get paid, right? Like, like every little thing about that company to the point where it's like you have that intimate kind of relationship with them, where it's like, all right, like if there's something going on, I know how to absolve this, I know how to handle this, I know who to go to, whatever. I have a certain expectation, right? Because you gain experience with them. If you're just going from firm to firm, it's kind of like that. You have that disconnection with the business. So if something goes wrong, you're more prone to like really like call them out or like get upset, or like your expectation is like, I should be getting like this because I normally trade at this firm. This is how they act or whatever.
Right.
So I feel like hopping from firm to firm actually for the companies, results in more like negative reviews. At the end of the day, I mean, this is definitely for the firm not like an easy business, easy industry to be in, because it's money at the end of the day, right? Like we're dealing with money. It's money on the table. And we were talking about this a little bit the other day about how like when you're trading the challenges, that money on your account, when you're yet to like pass and get funded, that money on your account, it's not really real yet, right?
Right.
But then once you start getting those withdrawals, then you start to realize like, holy shit, like every dollar I'm making in this account, I can actually earn, like this is my money.
Right.
Realistically.
Right. It becomes real. And like I was saying, me taking that time to develop that relationship with the funded trader over a year and a half. And here I am sitting here doing a podcast with my man, Angelo. Like, I'm pretty sure had I been like prop jumping in this prop firm, that I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Right.
Gave TFT, all my time and energy, learned the company, mastered my strategy. And here we are today. So, focus on the consistency pick a prop firm you like, the ins and outs, learn the ins and outs, focus on your consistency, and everything will take care of itself from there.
Isn't that crazy? And just like in life, how your intention to only trade with TFT, you had loyalty to TFT, and then it's not like necessarily on your application to come to Vegas. That shit was on there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was just like, all right, going through the guys, who's got the most payouts? Like, that's like literally what I did. I was like,
that's that manifestation. That's like that in a nutshell.
Yeah. That's why the position I'm in, I'm like, this is crazy because I'm meeting so many people who are putting the time into our platform, putting the time into themselves, and then they're manifesting to be here. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm manifesting the company to be there. So it's like, we're in this crazy energy freaking vortex. We're all trying to do something crazy. Like, it's great, man.
Exactly. We're all giving like to the same thing from different areas. We never even met, but we all kind of the same common goal in mind.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, it's money.
It's money
on the table.
It's money in yourself, right?
Money in yourself.
Building yourself up.
Exactly.
Like, that's what I find with meeting all these traders. Like, obviously I've met a lot of people and I've had a lot of good conversations. And the reason being is because everybody is sacrificing so much to get to where they are. Especially these people that like you who have gotten paid, think of all the trials and tribulations and everything you've been through, all this self-doubt, the times that you're thinking about whether it's giving up or just like, this is hard, whatever, the difficulties.
Times, a lot of them.
Bro.
And it's to be pushed. You got to push through them.
Yeah. How do you go about pushing through like tough times?
It starts with like self-belief and like confidence, right? This is why, that came from me just working on the craft, working on my strategy, and having and building my confidence to a point to where even when I fail a challenge, like I'm not thinking about the failure, but I'm thinking about, okay, what's going to take place when I pass this next one? You see what I'm saying? Like my daily thoughts are never, can I pass a challenge? My daily thoughts are, is this prop firm going to be able to handle the payouts I'm going to be requesting?
That energy.
Like that, like you got to have your confidence up there, never any self-doubting yourself. And that comes from just perfecting your strategy.
How did you cultivate this like self-belief? Is there a routine you go through? Like I'm always curious how other people go about it.
I guess the routine would just be like redefining your strategy, like repetition, finding out what works for you and then like putting the emphasis on that, so never straying too far, like it's okay to like to dabble, try and learn things here and there, but you want to find out what your strengths are. Once you find out what your strengths are, you can put confidence in that and then you just maximize it.
And I think that's the same thing in life too, right? Like you got to figure out what are your character, like what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, like, and that's how you can build confidence just in life. Because at the end of the day, trading, it sounds like you're saying like repetition, practice, like looking in the mirror and kind of like listen to like, what is the truth about who I am? Some people, they can't hold trades, or some people, they just struggle with trading in general and trading these accounts. And you really got to get like clear as to who you are, I think, before you can actually make money, whether it's in the market, I think just in general, right?
Exactly. I mean, because when I didn't truly believe in myself and in my craft, which I didn't know at the time, but when I didn't, a lot of times I would take bad trades because of my lack of confidence. So if I was in a losing trade, I would say, man, I don't know when I'm going to win again. So I got to stay in this trade, hope it turns around. Or when I would get in a winning trade, I was like, man, I don't know when I'm going to win again. I got to stay in this trade, and I stay in it too long and it reverses. All of that was a lack of confidence. You see what I'm saying? Now my confidence is up. So if I take a bad trade, I got to set trigger. Okay, I'm only going to lose this much. Because even if I lose 5,000 on a Tuesday, I know I'm going to come back Thursday and hit them for 15,000. It's a confidence thing. You got to have that belief in yourself.
That's crazy. And so when did you get started with trading? How long has it been?
I've been trading for before the wave got started. So like around 2013. So before it
long time.
Yeah, before it became popular, before everybody jumped on the bandwagon. I've been in the game for a minute, Angelo.
And how'd you originally discover?
I was working like I was working, my normal jobs, UPS. I was here, I was there. And then I just said, all right, I need an alternative way to make money. And then I just did my little trolling, like on in, and I'm looking at, Amazon drop ship, and I'm looking at wholesaling. And then I ran across a trading program on Facebook. This guy named Leo Williams, he still runs the course to this day. And like I said, back then, this was before the wave had been created. So when I saw the trading course, it kind of stood out to me, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, okay. And then I dabbled. Me and him did some work together and learned his program. And from there, I started studying this guy, Steve Murrow. And he's kind of like a mythical trader. He doesn't really come out. Kind of like either you pay for his course or you don't. He doesn't really do any advertising, anything like that. So I started studying him. So between those two guys, I took the lessons I was learning there, kind of redefined it, started doing my personal accounts, and like I say, I've been rolling ever since.
So back then, obviously, funded accounts, weren't a thing. So you were just doing personal capital. And what was the strategy in the beginning? Like, were you just throwing up a few $1,000? Were you funding the account more? Or were you trying to do account flips? Like, what was the strategy back then?
Man, no prop firm ever was a wild era. It was all straight money. Like, it was all your money.
Yeah.
So it was mostly like account flips. You have to I would start out with like 500, try and get that to 5,000. Start out with like 2,000, try and get that to, 10, so it was small account flips. So, the prop firm game, like, man, y'all really changed the game, giving, serious traders like an opportunity to really make serious capital.
Yep.
So this is a good time to be
the game has changed.
Yeah, this is a good time to be a trader right now.
I always say that the game has changed because, that $500 that you were trying to flip to $5,000, like, what type of, that's a crazy return to 10x $500.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the percentage gains you have to make on that, the amount you have to risk per trade on that, you gotta risk like 50% of trade.
You gotta risk like 50% of trade, which I think coming from that area, it helps me like when I'm in TFT and in the prop firm game, because you have these redefined rules. And, when I started with my personal accounts, I still have a couple of personal accounts. When I started on personal accounts, I knew nothing about rules. It was you go in and you try and flip the account, and then the prop firm space came in and you guys kind of gave a guideline of, okay, this is how much you should lose and can't lose per day. Like, so it redefine
those parameters.
Right. Those parameters, you had to redefine your strategy, so that just sticks with you naturally.
Yeah. So for anyone that has no idea what a prop firm is, like, I'm always interested, how would you explain like what the hell is actually going on with this?
It's like
what is the opportunity for people with these prop firms?
Right. So it's like if you got the skill and you got the strategy, the prop firm has the money, right? They have the capital that you need, right? So it's like the two go hand in hand. So it's a perfect marriage for a serious trader, prop firm. You see what I'm saying? Like, we need each other. So I would say that's how I would explain it. Like, you need capital. These guys are offering capital. They need serious traders. That's what you bring into the table,
Yeah, because at the end of the day, a lot of people talk about what is the prop firm model, where's the money coming from, all this stuff. At the end of the day, no matter which way you turn it, if we were A booking all of the trades, right, or B booking all the trades, whatever, the prop firm needs serious traders, right? If there's not actual traders that can make money on the platform, then the business model simply doesn't work, right? So it's not a successful business. We're not able to come together and celebrate, your wins this weekend, because if no one was making money, there'd be no business, right? So I think that's something that's important to take note of, is the company is looking to find, good traders, not only because we can come on, we could do podcasts, we could celebrate your success, but there is a larger goal, for the firm. The firm, as it's reaching a certain level of data, we can do a certain thing in regards to discovering strategies that we can trade with, and so on and so on. And the goal for the firm is really yes, it's a proprietary trading firm, and all the contractors, so all of you guys who are traders, are technically contractors of our firm, and we're in an agreement where you're basically transferring us your data, and then we're paying you a remuneration fee, like 80%, 90%, whatever, so that you can, get paid whatever that you're making on that account. And like you said, you've made over $50,000. So something that is big on the Funded Trader is, community based and promotion. We do a lot of promotion stuff.
Right.
What's been your favorite promotion so far?
I don't know, man. The promotion, our promotion game is crazy, man. It's like the prop firm. It already allows you to be successful, and like you guys just have like the neon signs and the billboards, like, hey, come here, be successful over here. And I mean, the 90% promotion is crazy. I think, when y'all do it, I think people kind of take it for granted,
Oh yeah.
And because, before TFT came out, you had some companies running 70%. Then they got up to 80%. 80% was just the standard. It still is outside of TFT. And you guys, y'all run y'all 90% promotions. Sometimes y'all do like 92%. And like, I think people really like take that shit for granted.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
90% right out the box. So that's like big up. Like the promotion game is crazy.
According to the numbers, the people do like the 90%. They always vote, when I'm like do a poll and I'm like vote which promotion you want, they're always voting for the 90%, all the profit splits and everything. And like you said, before we got into the game about two years ago, or a little over 2 years ago, the profit splits on some of these other firms were like 70%. And then we actually used that as one of our like strength points when we launched, was like, oh, we're going to do 80%. Right. And there was a few other firms that did 80, and now 80 is pretty much the standard. And, we've been pushing it, doing 85, doing 90. I see some firms that do 85 like consistently, but it does make a huge difference for anyone that's like listening to this. Oh, what are these guys talking about? It's if you get paid, or if you make 10,000 on your account, if you have an 80% split, you'd get 8,000.
Right.
But if you have a 90% split, you'd get 9,000. Right. 92, you get 9,200. 95, you get 9,500. So it actually is very important for the trader, like to have a bigger split.
And to jump in right quick, when you say like, okay, 10,000, 80%, you get 8,000, and you sit at home, you're like, okay, cool. But when you're a serious trader and you start playing in big numbers and your payouts are looking like 60 grand, 70 grand, that 80% that 80 to 90% now makes a big difference. It looks much different on paper now. So that 90% is crazy.
So what are some goals for you right now? You're trying to get max funding. What are some other goals for you trading wise?
I'm trying to get max funding. Consistency. I've been consistent for the last 7 to 8 months. As a trader, your number one goal should always be consistency. That's what mine's is. Mine's is consistency. After that, it's just scaling up. Right. So, because once you become consistent, then you gotta scale up. You gotta ramp up. So that's where I'm at with it right now.
You gotta level up into the King's program, bro.
Level up.
Let's go.
I just got I'm feel comfortable in my consistency because I've had like a long duration, a test sample. So I know my strategy. I know my consistency. Now I'm ready to level up.
Let's go.
Level up.
I'm pumped. So 8 months, 7, 8 months consistent. What do you attribute this consistency to? Because there's a lot of variables, right?
It's a ton of variables, man. Like I said, I contributed to the confidence thing. I contributed to the fact that I know how to lose now. I know how to win, right? Before I became consistent, I didn't really know how to lose. When I lost too big. Devastated me. I would be under the covers for like 3 weeks, mad at the dog, couldn't eat. Like it took too much out of me. When I won, I got too high, was, didn't study for a week, so I know how to win now. I know how to lose now. Those things redefine yourself the more you put in the repetition,
Yeah, that's an important, or that's a crazy thing you said. It's knowing how to win, right?
How to win.
If you want to win like the championship, if you want to be a champion, you want to be a winner, it's doing those mundane tasks every single day without excuse. And like you said, not getting too high, not getting too low.
Right.
And listen, for the people that have never experienced that type of winning, because I can say I have, clearly you have at this point. For the people that haven't experienced that type of winning, what I will say is you will, by being neutral, right, not getting too high or getting too low, you will eventually experience success like you never thought was possible.
Right.
Because all of a sudden, like, it's not just about, oh, I got a 5K pay, I'm going to buy a roll at this. It's like, no, like you're continuing on that trajectory of winning, of success, to the point where it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I have enough money to buy a house. Now I have enough money to buy this and buy that. Like, you are going to hit a level at which you never thought was possible per se.
Right.
But it's like, you just got to stay on that path and keep every day doing those mundane tasks, and you'll never dip, right? You'll keep going on the up and up, but the hardest part is remaining consistent with those tasks.
Because, to jump in, like, my winning isn't object-based anymore, material-based. So it's like I'm not winning because I want to go buy X, Y, and Z, right? I'm winning because I want to stay consistent, right? So my consistent mind frame brings on the wins. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I'm tuning everything out, right? I'm not like, okay, I got this payout, now I'm going to do this. I got this payout, okay, I was consistent in this practice. How can I become more consistent? Like it's nothing objective. It's no object form about it.
That's powerful.
It's almost like robotic.
I was thinking about this the other day because in the society we live in, it is so materialistic, right?
Mhm.
We're all always chasing the bigger car, the flashier object,
Right.
especially in trading. That's why most people get into it.
Right.
But like you said, the win, the celebration is you're calling it the consistency.
It's the work.
It's the work, right? It's the journey. It's who you are. It's how you show up and that your
Right.
character,
Right.
this and that. That's what's the most important thing. Because even look at it from my perspective, if it was about the money, I would have quit.
Right.
Ben quit now, you know what I'm saying? Because
Feel it.
when I started, I didn't even have come close to the amount of money I had from where I came from. So for me, it's about the people. It's about the opportunity to provide for me, like the platform to provide a great opportunity. It's about myself, like my self-improvement.
Yeah.
Right. Like by focusing on myself, a byproduct of that is that people can benefit from the platform that I'm pouring myself into. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So what are some things that you do to like cultivate this level of self-awareness, that you're kind of speaking about?
I pay attention to the process, right? Because like I said, I've been consistent for about 7 to 8 months. But earlier in the interview, I said I've been trading since 2013, right? That's like 7+ years where I wasn't consistent. So if it was just about the quick buck and just about the flash, I would have gave up a long time ago, right? So I pay attention to my process. And it's a beautiful thing when you see yourself maturing and getting better, right? So you take a step back and you grade yourself. You're like, wait a minute, I started here, where I wasn't consistent, couldn't flip an account. Now I'm on a podcast. Where can I be in 2 years if I stay even more disciplined? So you kind of always pay attention to your own journey. You kind of stay focused. You center yourself, stay focused in your own process. That's the most important thing.
Just sounds like you locked in.
You stay locked in.
You locked in, bro. That's
in.
good. And, it's tough to make that jump though.
It's tough
to go from where you were at to where you're at now. Like it's not easy. Most people struggle, and it's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of looking in the mirror and telling yourself the truth.
Right.
Like a lot of people make a lot of excuses. Right. You don't sound like you're making many excuses anymore.
You can't. I hate excuses. I hate that shit, man. And like I said, I was not consistent for 7 years. It was some hard times. Like when I wasn't consistent, when you're not consistent and you're trading, people think you're gambling, right? So when I first came to my family and I was like, look, I'm trading. I got this new thing, this new idea I'm into, but I'm not consistent. I don't really have anything to show for it. You're like, that sounds like you gambling. Well, it don't sound like that no more.
No.
You see what I'm saying? Because of the consistency. But you got to get to that point. You got to go through those tough times. You got to go through that stretch. And you got to take moments to just pat yourself on the back a little bit. Like, okay, I stood the course. What can happen if I stay the course some more,
Yeah, you got to celebrate all the wins.
You got to celebrate.
No matter what it is. And that's like operating in a state of gratitude, right?
Right.
Being grateful for all the small things that add up over time, because then that accumulates and compounds into this huge success.
Mm-hmm.
You being on the podcast, right? That this was like these daily tasks. We were talking about these mundane tasks. You doing those over a long period of time. I mean, 7 years is a long time.
7 years is a long.
7 years is a long time, right?
Even
like
longer when you're not consistent.
Yeah.
Even longer to go through those days where you go through months and you're not seeing profit, and you go through months and months of changing your strategy over and over. I must have changed my strategy over 100 times.
Yeah.
7 years.
Well, listen, a lot of people are looking at this. They're like, oh, well, this guy's on a podcast now. And if you didn't say 7 years, it'd just be like, this guy's successful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then for me, it's like, oh, Angelo owns this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Angelo's successful. And it's like the moment, you know what I'm saying? They're like just seeing the fruits of the labor.
Right.
And they're like, oh, I want to get there tomorrow.
No.
But like even me, it took me, I'm 28 now. I started probably pursuing entrepreneurship when I was like 21.
Yeah.
Before that, I was just in school, doing random things here and there. But yeah, really started trying to pursue things seriously at 21. And then it took me 5 years to, find my niche, find my strategy, find the business that I'd be successful in and scale up. And yeah, did it scale up quickly?
Mhm.
Like for sure it scaled up really quickly, like 4 or 5 years, and then all of a sudden, boom. But it was those 4 or 5 years, me learning, me failing, right?
Right.
Me not giving up.
And failures are important.
Oh, dude, it's the most.
You gotta take a step back and appreciate them damn failures, man. That shit is important too. Just as important as those wins, right? Because that's where the lessons are at. Like, it sounds cliche, but those losing trades, that's where you're gonna redefine your strategy the most. Those big losing trades, that's where you're gonna really analyze and step back and say, okay, I got in at this entry point, but it turned here. Wait a minute, why did it do? You're gonna redefine yourself the most in those losing trades and losing moments. So those failures are important.
And those losing trades, I like to draw the analogy just to life. Like, it's losing days, right? Like, people as human beings, we have losing days.
Right.
And when I'm big on not stacking up losing days. Like, I'll never lose 2 days in a row.
Right.
Like, and if I do, the third day I'm winning, right?
Right.
And some people will say, like, what does that mean? It's like, if I'm, fucking off for 3 days in a row, that ain't me. That ain't who I want to be. That's not my character. So that fourth day, I'm picking myself up, look at myself in the mirror, and I'm doing something that benefits myself, that's positive, that's healthy, whatever that may be. I'm putting myself in a new direction. So those losing trades, those losing days, it's the same thing. One point or another, you got to pick your head up and say, enough's enough.
Enough's enough. Enough's enough. If you want it, those are like the pivotal turning points. You can't have like losing day after day and not get better from it. Because at some point you got to say, wait a minute. All right, when I'm doing this wrong, how can I redefine this? Right? If you're having too many losing days, losing weeks in a row, that means you're not changing the problem. What's going on? So you got to take that step back.
That's big facts right there. Yeah, you're not looking at the problem.
You're not looking at the problem, right? You're not looking at you kind of gotta, like,
you're panicking.
Right, you're panicking, eyes closed. You want to take a step back and take that as a lesson. All right, it's time for me to go to another level. Time for me to kick into another gear. Even if you got to pivot off of your strategy completely. Those losing days, those losing weeks is telling you something that you got to hear.
Do you trade multiple strategies, or is it just one strategy?
Just one strat. I trade 2 to 3 strategies, but they're all variations of the one main strategy.
The one main strategy.
Yeah.
And is this all swing trading?
All swing trade.
And what pair is it?
So I trade the strategy. So pretty much any pair can get it. Like, I don't have a special pair because my strategy is special, not the pair.
Interesting. So walk us through a day when you're doing your analysis, because you were telling me that you're full-time trading
right
at this point now. Right now. You're full-time trading now. You were saying you work in what? The personal care or something?
Yeah, I worked in the medical field.
Okay.
But for the last 7 to 8 months, all of my funds been coming from trading.
And so walk us through the day in the life of you and your full-time trading. How does it go down?
So it starts on Saturday night. I like to take Saturday morning kind of for myself and the family. But it starts on Saturday night. I'm looking at the week ahead, right? I'm looking at what pairs I want to target based on the structure of how they performed last week, right? So my strategy is a weekly market cycle. So I'm looking for the best entry places for the entire week, right? So that starts on a Saturday, goes into Sunday. I'm looking to see where can I get the best price point at, because I'm looking to hold those trades for like 2 to 3 days.
2 to 3 day swings. You ever hold trades over the weekend at all?
No, I do in my personal account. Not on TFT because I'm doing the rapids.
Yep.
But I am.
So you do the regular account, not the swing.
No. I do the regular.
Okay. Get the more leverage.
I need the leverage.
Yeah.
I'm a leverage guy, a rapid leverage guy.
Oh, yeah. So in regards to these positions, what's like the average risk reward and like the average stop loss, like the size?
Right. So, man, because my strategy is entry based. If my stop, I'm looking to keep my stop no more than 10 pips above the entry. Right. If I got to go 10 pips above, that means I'm entering wrong.
Really?
Right. So I got certain triggers set up in my mind to let me know if it's a bad trade. Like if I got to place the stop loss 25, 30 pips or some shit, like I'm at the wrong price point. You know, so the stop loss kind of determines if I'm going to take the trade.
And the risk rewards, what are you shooting for?
I'm shooting for like,
They must be big risk rewards. If you got 10 pip stop losses.
Yeah. So I'm like 5 to 1. I mean, it's insane. You know, it's insane. Like 5 to 1. You know, I'm like I say, my stop losses are so tight. You know, the risk to reward is going
to get crazy.
It's going to get crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be like 10 to 1, everything.
And I like to keep my stop losses tight because that allows me to utilize my leverage.
Yeah,
which is why I like the regular accounts.
Yeah,
you know. So you can take a 20-25 lot trade with a 10 pip stop loss and not have to sweat too much. You know, you can go 30 lot.
This is a very important topic because the reality is and I've dropped this on other podcasts before. The people that are making the most money on the platform, they have high risk rewards. They maximize the use of their leverage.
Right.
That's how you maximize this $500 for a 100K account. That's how you really make the most money.
That's how you make the most money. And that's how you show yourself you're growing. Right. So you can have discipline and you cannot be reckless. But at the end of the day, you got to redefine your strategy enough to where you can utilize the leverage. Right. Because when I look at a trader and I see you taking a bunch of, 50-cent lot sizes, $1 lot sizes.
You might as well have 1-to-1 leverage.
Exactly. Another thing that tells me is that you don't really believe in yourself that much. You see what I'm saying? You're kind of teetering on the fence, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know, when I place a trade, I've done the homework. I've done the analysis. This trade is gonna pay out. It should pay out. So I got 10 pips, 30 lots. 40 lots, and I'm riding with it.
Your profit per point is insane. Yeah, it's very high.
Right. So when I have a week, like a 20K week, I expected that to happen.
Yeah. So this is anyone listening, if you're trying to make money, this is what you need to, in my opinion. I've dropped this before. People with high risk rewards are making the most money on the platform. Let's talk about the leverage again. People that don't understand like why we're talking about this. So basically, if you have a 10 pip stop loss, but you're still potentially only risking 1% or 2% or whatever, right, on the account technically. But since the stop losses are so low, you can drop higher lot sizes. Realistically, you can drop higher lot sizes, and then when those swing into profit and you end up with 5 to 1 risk rewards, whatever, then that's how you're making big gains.
That's how you're making big gains. That's how you utilizing the platform
to the maximum. Yeah, because you want the leverage so you can open those bigger lot sizes. But if your stop loss is 30 pips or 40 pips or 50 pips and you're only risking 1%, then you have to open a small lot size.
Exactly.
Realistically.
Exactly. When you have those 50 pip, and everybody has their own strategy,
Yeah.
That's the whole 50 pip stop loss thing. That's not my bag. I'm not because I consider myself to be a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Like when I come into a trade, I may take 2 trades a week. So when I'm coming into it, guns out, like I'm utilizing the leverage, and I know where I'm at. I know what it should do. Like I said, the market is tricky, but I've done the homework. I know what it should do. And more times than not, it does that.
What's the largest lot size you dropped on a TFT account on a trade?
I've done, I would say in total, maybe like around 75 lots.
God damn.
And but I've done it so I would open like multiple 30 lots, in like a 10 suite. I had like 75 lots going on one trade.
And what was like, was that the first time opening that much?
First time, yeah, that much, but I'm always like around there. Like,
Okay.
over 50 trades, 50 lots, 60 lots. I'm on a
It's a lot of lots.
right. That's a lot of lots. But like on a light day, 25 lots is usually where I start.
Now, what's if you're opening those lots pretty consistently,
Mhm.
what is like the largest swing that you've seen where you've been up and then it came back and then maybe it went back or just went to like loss or whatever? What's been the largest swing for you?
Yeah. So on that 75 lot trade, I was up like around 55,000. It came back to about 22,000. I settled at like around 33,000, so
Yeah.
right in the middle.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I mean, it happens though.
50.
But that's why I need that balance-based drawdown.
Yeah.
So that I can like let it swing, because sometimes, like I said, because if I'm holding those trades over multiple days, I'm expecting it to swing back.
Mhm.
I'm not panicking. I'm expecting it to come back.
What's like, sorry to continue to cut you off. What's like, when you're in a trade and you're up 55K, what are you moving to stop loss?
So if I'm up like 55K, I'm moving it to whatever point I know I can still get a good night's sleep at. So if that's 15K, if that's 20K, that's cool. So if it comes back, because like I said, these trades are running while I'm sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say a good night's sleep, I'm speaking literally. I can sleep good knowing that if I wake up in the morning and it hit me, came back and swung to 20K, all right, that's cool. 20K in a day, that ain't bad.
What's like your advice? It sounds like you're big on trying to maintain your family guy. It seems like you're trying to maintain some peace with going to sleep. You're not trying to be in, like, there's some people trading right now that are waking up, checking trades all night, like going super stressed out, stuff like that. That's not you though.
No, to a certain extent.
I guess it's unavoidable, right? At some point.
It's unavoidable because, money's always on the line.
Yeah.
Money's always going to draw out a certain emotion in you. I mean, you're not a total robot. The way you kind of balance that out is just with your consistency, with your confidence. If you take the same setup week after week, okay, you kind of know, even if it does go against you, okay, it's only going to hit me for my 10 pips. So it's only going to hit me for my 15, So you kind of build some peace in the repetition, so to say. If you trade the same strategy over and over, you get to you kind of expect what can go wrong and what can go right.
Why is it so hard for people to develop this mind state? That mind state of like, your strategy, your strategy, your mind is calloused, you're aware of the outcomes, you're setting parameters. Why do you think it's so hard for people to develop this?
I don't know. I mean, the markets
it took you a while too.
It took me a while.
Yeah.
Because the markets are like a different beast. Forex in particular, because it's 24 hours. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't want to sleep, you don't have to. Like, you can be up at all hours of the night trying to, money is always on the table. And like I said, money naturally is going to bring out certain emotions in you. It's up to you to keep those emotions in check. And that's better. And that's easier said than done,
Yeah. And I think this also relates to like this country. In this country, there's endless pleasure, right? Mm-hmm. There's endless opportunity as well. Mm-hmm. But if you, don't set parameters for yourself, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't set these boundaries, you could end up spiraling into a bad situation in America, right?
Right.
You could end up at the bottom of America, and that's not a pleasant place to be.
Not at all.
For sure. So I feel like what you're speaking on, like this market, Forex, has a lot of opportunity for people, but at the same time, it's not easy in the sense that it's always accessible. Right. It's always available. It's tempting. The temptation is
Temptation of it all.
crazy. Like like I said, the opportunity, like the scalability is crazy. So yeah, I think it relates to this country, to America. And I think the people that ultimately set those parameters can take advantage of this opportunity tremendously. Right. Like the dream is alive for sure, just in general, not just America, just in general.
In general. And this is a good time to be doing it, man. And if you, like, say, if you don't have those parameters set in place, it can bring out kind of the gambler's psyche, let me get a quick hit. Like, because it's, placing those trades, it gives you like an adrenaline rush, right? Especially when they go your way, because as human beings, we're naturally programmed to, we like to be right.
Yep.
And when we get that feeling of being right, we want it again and again. So this is where your skill set, you have to transfer it to more of a callous, kind of a structured base. Okay, this isn't me making this money. This is my strategy making this money. You kind of transfer it, you don't make it personal.
Yeah. That's it's crazy, because even myself, when I was, you're saying set the parameters and that, like, be structured in life, when I was a bit more unstructured, right? Like I was smoking weed a lot. Like I was just like not as focused as I needed to be. I was eating whatever. And then I wasn't tapping into this opportunity. Like I was poor. Like I was mentally poor. I was physically poor, financially poor. And then as I shifted and set these parameters and had a more structured approach to how I was developing my character, my mind state, that's when I became rich, right? Like financially, like spiritually, mentally, everything, physically. So it's the same thing applies to trading. Like the same thing applies to this.
The same thing. And to kind of piggyback off that, that's one thing I love about trading, because it kind of brings out what's already there inside of you, right? Like if you're a greedy person, it's going to be emphasized in the markets. Like if you don't believe in yourself, it's going to show up in your trading. Like you have to redefine yourself away from the screen, away from the laptop, then bring that back to the laptop, right? You can't develop yourself inside the screen.
Yeah, I agree. I think insecurities is a big thing, right? Like, what are you insecure about? I think that's going to show up in the charts, for sure. Like, whatever is blocking you mentally from just being confident, that's going to show up in the charts. So, like anyone listening to this trying to get nuggets from you, like, why is this guy successful? This and that. This is one of the most important nuggets. Is like step away from the chart, and figure out why the fuck you can't be confident.
Right. If you have this greed factor when you're trading, you got to step away and figure out, damn, why am I so damn greedy? Like usually, like when I had times when I was battling greed heavy, it was because I wasn't confident if I was ever going to be able to really make money trading, right? So when I would trade and make a little money, I would add on more trades, and then it would go against me. Like, so I had to take a step away and say, okay, the reason I'm greedy is because I'm not good enough, right? I don't think I can make money consistently. So when I do make money, I want to take all I can, and then it goes against me, right? So you got to take a step away, figure out like, okay, what's hindering me? Let me fix that, then go back to the screen.
Yeah, it's kind of like I use like an analogy. Say you had a well, right? Say you you dug a well, you had a water stream, and like you had an abundance of water, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I have all this water, and people in the city need, or people in the town need water as well, and I want to be that guy that provides for everyone in the town. So you start inviting everyone to the well, and you're like, we all have water, and then you start trying to keep digging, keep giving people more water, keep inviting more people to come. Eventually this thing will dry up, right? Like you're just doing it all day, every day. You're getting too greedy. Like you're trying to put too many people on. Like if you just, took a step back and say, all right, I have an abundance of water. I'm going to invite one or two people or every day. I'm not going to like take all the water out in a week, right? I'm just going to over time slowly bring it out. I'm going to be grateful for what I have, instead of just trying to like take it to that level right away. Like I think that's what most people are in, that scarcity mindset. And then when they get a little bread or they get a little cheddar, they get a little money, it's just like, oh my God, like I need to go from here to here.
Right.
And that's how you go from here to here.
Exactly. And it's taking a step back, realizing, hey, the market's going to be there, whether you do Forex, indices, stocks, the market is going to be there. It's your mindset that's, you have to take a step back and like redefine, because everything on the charts, the market is cyclical. So pretty much the same shit happens week after week. So if you can define and pick out a good strategy, whatever trade you think is there, July, the week of the 11th, is going to be there at the end of July, the beginning of August, the end of August. So you have to really take the time back, redefine yourself, and come back, and the market is going to be there waiting for you.
This is true. I'm going to tie that analogy back to trading.
Mm-hmm.
Someone makes a little money, all of a sudden, I'm going to sell a course.
Right.
I'm going to be a guru.
Oh, man, I hate that shit.
I'm going to tell everybody.
I hate that shit.
I'm going to DM everyone, hey, I made a little money on Forex, this and that. Then what happens when you lose? What happens when those people you were teaching, that strategy changes?
Right.
The strategy doesn't work anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the same thing. That's getting too greedy. That's not being humble.
Right. That's why I say, when I got in the game, it was back in 2013. It was kind of just on the upswing as far as the internet side of it. But now it's like the wild, wild west with these courses, with these gurus. Like, I feel kind of bad for people. You got to decipher that, and I don't know, the whole course thing is crazy. Like I always tell people, like, if you really have a strategy that makes significant money in the markets, right? They say if you got a strategy that brings you in $15K a week, how much is it really worth for you to give it away? Is it worth $199 with a flash sale of $45? Like you got to think about that shit, like, so I don't know. The whole course thing is crazy. I don't sell courses, partially because, I really do this. Angelo, I'm really in these woods. Like I really trade. I really do this. So, and it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of study and a lot of practice, a lot of being disciplined, so, yeah, I'm kind of, be careful out there on the course side of it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Listen, I think that anybody that's, anyone that's on the Instagram, on the Twitter, and you're seeing them post all these things every day and their lifestyle's flashy and this and that, it's like this for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
For a reason.
They're trying to draw you into this dream, to this idea. It's an industry. It's an entire industry for these people. They're trying to make money. It's not to say that that's good or bad. The only reason it would be bad is if they were lying and being unauthentic about what they're doing. Then, in my opinion, it would be very bad or it'd be illegal.
Right.
So that's the only thing. But definitely be careful with who you follow. And that's why right now I love this. There's this new wave of prop traders who have made money on like TFT and other platforms, and they're showing their actual withdrawals verified from a third party. Mm-hmm. And now these people are being looked towards as thought leaders in the industry, mm-hmm. Authoritative speakers in the industry. And they're verified, they're not just these guys that have Lambos and, chains and watches and all this stuff. And they're just like, follow me. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm here.
Right. Which is like trading. It's some work, man. Just to put in your study time and, just to hone on your own discipline, right? Because you have to remain disciplined while you're on the screen trading and while you're away from it, So it's the total package of like working on yourself constantly, staying consistent with your work.
Yeah. And I always like to just plug this in, like, because people would think I'd be up here and I'd be like, oh, trading's easy. This thing is easy. This money is easy on TFT. No,
right.
This shit is hard.
Right.
And we see the numbers. This is harder than you think.
Right. Harder than you think. And the hardest part of it, some of the hardest part about trading is everything away from the screen, right? You're battling your own mentality, so it's everything that you really can't see. It's everything that you can't see on the screen, everything you can't see on Instagram. It's like you're battling your own fear, You know, you battling your own, you want to be successful, but you're not there yet. You know, you're pushing hard, not seeing results. It got you over trading, so it's a lot of behind the scenes work.
And then in addition, you got all the people asking you how it's going, this and that. And it's like, mind your business.
Exactly. It's a lot of pressure. I mean, even when you're successful, it's a lot of pressure to stay successful, right? So that's the whole part about I can say the word consistency 100 times, but that word, it means a lot when you break it down. It's staying the course.
Yeah.
It's one thing to achieve success. It's another thing to stay successful.
It's important though. You were saying the pressure, like think of my position, your position, like it's not like what we mean by that is you should accept the pressure, right? Like pressure is actually good. A healthy amount of pressure is important, right? Because it'll help you, get off your ass. It'll keep you motivated, whatever. It is that like little added juice to the equation. At the end of the day, it's not all about, it's really just about yourself at the end of the day and being consistent. But that added juice is something.
Right.
So having a healthy amount of pressure is important. Don't put too much pressure on yourself is not going to be beneficial to the cause. And by that, I mean, some people buying accounts with credit cards or leveraging their future, this and that, trying to get funded, trying to quit your job. So, you gotta have a healthy amount of pressure here so you don't have a huge setbacks.
Yeah. And to keep it healthy, I would like to say, keep the pressure like internal. Like, don't put any stupid pressure on yourself. Like, oh, I got to look this way on Instagram. I got to be in the Lambo club. And those things, they come from staying the course. That shouldn't be a part of your pressure though. How I got to look, how my status has to be. Let that be a byproduct of just the consistency. If you're putting that type of pressure on yourself, strip that part away because that's unnecessary pressure.
Yeah. Let me just give some advice for the people. That's an important thing. Don't be trying to look a certain way on Instagram. Like you should just be trying to be yourself all the time. Like what you post, like we're not saying don't post on Instagram or don't be on social media, but when you're on, be authentic. Like
be authentic. Like if you're trading to a certain level to where your trades allows you to post a Lambo, by all means, go and do it. But don't let that be a part of your pressure system that I got to get to that point.
Don't be financing Lambos so you can look on Instagram a certain way.
Now you're manufacturing your own pressure. You want the pressure to be natural. That's the healthiest pressure.
Yeah.
Right? The pressure to be great that comes from within, right? Not the pressure to be great from the outside. That's like some bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, with what we're doing, the energy that is being cultivated amongst all of us, there's going to be a lot of progress and a lot of great things to come, out of this situation, out of TFT, out of you, in your trading journey. It's just the beginning. And I always say that because it's like, you always got to look at yourself from where you at and where you want to be. And I'm not giving up today. I'm not retiring. Right. You're damn well not retiring.
Hell no.
So we got to be optimistic. We got to look into the future and 3, 4, 5 years, you got to think about where do I want to be? Mm-hmm. You really do got to think about it. Cause if not, you'll be dragged there.
Right.
And you'll end up
float there.
You'll float there and you'll not be what you want to be. So for you, what are the goals 3 to 5 years from now? Where do you want to be?
Okay. So look, 3 to 5 years from now, I got 2 goals. They're vastly different. Like this thing can go in 2 different directions. So my first thing was to get consistent. I feel comfortable with my consistency now. So I can scale it up at this point, like go massive, try and do a fund, take on some investors, do signals, like the whole 9, just really like shark it up, or I can go the other route, have my personal accounts, deal with the prop firms, make the money, enjoy my time, kick back with my daughter, my son, just relax, chill. So it's two vastly different routes. I can go with it now. I don't exactly know which one of them yet, but I think I can be happy doing both. But if I take the shark route, I'm gonna hit you up. So we'll see.
That's the best part about the position that I'm in, man, because I got all these people that are building themselves up. And we say building the empire, like the funded trader, because you essentially are, you're building up your own little kingdom here. And then if I can be a part of that in any way, obviously I'm 100% down. Like any way that I can continue to partner up with good people who are on the right path, who are locked in, that's where I want to be. So, and that's the manifestation of me creating this platform. Was like, I didn't have a great network of people.
Right.
And now meeting, all the best people that I could be meeting. Top players.
And
that's it.
It's been a good weekend.
It has been.
It's been a good weekend.
It has been. First fight, right? You said?
First UFC fight, man.
Me too.
Met some great people from TFT. It was just an awesome weekend. And like, just speaking on that, for a long time, man, even when I first got in the game with the personal accounts, like Success, it had its like narrow paths, and there was like a lot of back streets and alleys and shit. And then you got, my man Angelo and TFT, y'all come and y'all take those back avenues and those alleys and y'all just like make fucking interstate to success. You see what I'm saying? Like a broad, and I appreciate y'all for that. Like y'all got the interstate, the highway with like all the neon signs and bright lights, like just come like, so it's not hidden no more. So if you want to be successful, the point now is just working on yourself, because like the opportunity is there. Like this is a good time to be a trader in general.
I appreciate that. And that what you said is extremely like important, extremely relevant, extremely accurate.
Yeah.
Right. Before it's like, oh, I got to trade your own account. There's, little alleys, little backways. You're like, how do I get now? It's like, level up your skill, right? Level up yourself and take this fucking path. Yeah. I don't say that lightly. And I told you this. We'll wrap it up with this. I told you this over the weekend, the theory behind the business, how it's a meritocracy, in the sense that the people who have the skills, who have the patience, who have the discipline, who have the experience, they will be rewarded. The people that fail to build the skills, to build the experience, to build the self-awareness, they got to continue to learn.
I can't say it any better. I'm gonna leave it there. I can't even say it any better, man.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're gonna hook you up. I'm gonna give you a 200K account, rapid account. We'll try to get you up to the max funding. We'll leave that part up to you.
Yeah.
But listen, I appreciate you coming out for the weekend, coming on the pod. Spending time with us, going to the fight, and just supporting the platforms. Any way that I can continue to support you, any feedback, anything, feel free to reach out. But yeah, man, appreciate you being on the pod.
Appreciate y'all, man. It's been nothing but love. Glad to be out here.
Let's get it.
Hello. Let's go, brother.